everyone, I've had a ton of people reach out to me asking about the Dragon Quest XII rumors, so I wanted to make a video, first of all, going over the so-called leaks, what my thoughts are on them, and if I think they're real or not, and why they may or may not be. If you're into Dragon Quest content, JRPG content, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all so you don't miss the next video. You can also hype the video to help others find it. And if you want to help out the channel, feel free to join the channel and become a Dragon Warrior today. Now let's get into it. All right, so this is going around on Twitter or X like crazy. I'm not even gonna say the person's name that that posted this. It's a bit of a slur, all right? So that's, I mean, the first red flag right there. Let's get into it here. It says a huge leak about Dragon Quest XII just dropped from the same guy who nailed everything about Dragon Quest XI back in the day. So this is all translated from French, by the way, into English. So if any of it sounds kind of weird, it's just bad translation. My first critique here is nobody's saying who this person is. They're just kind of saying it's the same guy who nailed everything about 11 back in the day. Maybe this happened. I do not remember leaks about Dragon Quest XI, let alone like accurate leaks about Dragon Quest XI back in the day. If they were there, let me know down in the comments. I don't remember them. So it's hard to verify literally any of this, right? Because we don't know who this person is that apparently predicted everything about Dragon Quest XI. Like I said, I don't remember anyone predicting anything about Dragon Quest XI. I do remember hearing that it was going to be tied to the Erdrick trilogy, but I don't know if that was something the developers released or if that was something that maybe was leaked and maybe this is the person they're talking about. Anyways, let's move on. The game would take place in the Celestian timeline before Dragon Quest IX and X at the height of the Klefner Empire. So this is the one that makes me wonder if this is real. I have not started version 7 of Dragon Quest X. I just finished version 6 literally this morning at the time of recording this, and it was amazing, and it does link Dragon Quest X to Dragon Quest IX. There have been tons of hints already throughout the stories that link Dragon Quest X to Dragon Quest IX, but Dragon Quest X version 6, it solidifies that Dragon Quest X takes place after Dragon Quest IX. Without going into too many details, and I don't want to really spoil it for anybody else, some big things happened in the world of Dragon Quest IX. People had to bail on that world, and this new world was founded. So that is the kind of the setting of Dragon Quest X, I suppose, but you don't find that out until much later in the game, like in version 6. It's like 6 full-length Dragon Quest games before you get to that. I have heard that Dragon Quest X version 7 takes place in the world of Dragon Quest IX. I'm not there yet. I can't verify this. If you can verify this, do it in the comments, but please don't drop any spoilers on version 7, because like I said, I haven't started it yet. This definitely could take place in that timeline, and the reason I think this one might have some substance to it is because literally, again, this morning they announced that version 8 of Dragon Quest X is the final part of the Dragon Quest X story. So the main story will be completed after version 8. So they are wrapping up Dragon Quest X after like 20 years maybe. I don't know. It came out on the Wii originally, so it's been around for a very long time. There's been a ton of content added to Dragon Quest X, a ton of support. And like I said, version 7 came out like a year or so ago. Version 6, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And version 8 literally is coming out this year. So when I say versions, those are full-length Dragon Quest games, okay? Very story-heavy, really well-written, excellent Dragon Quest games. I did do a guide if you're interested in playing Dragon Quest X. I did a guide on how to play it in English for free, so check that out, and I'd love to see you all play Dragon Quest X. It's amazing. You can play all from version 1 to almost the very end of version 4 for free. So you're getting basically 4 full Dragon Quest games for free. So check out that guide. I will say there is a caveat. If you live outside of the United States and Japan, you will need a VPN. So yeah, that's why I think with them wrapping up the story to Dragon Quest X, it would maybe make sense, right, for Dragon Quest XII to take place in that kind of era, the Celestian era, let's call it. Let's get back to the so-called leaks on Dragon Quest XII. The main character is a girl. I think that would be cool. We haven't had like a single main character that was a girl. We've had like the option to play as a girl. We've never had where the main character is a girl. So I am excited. I think that would be really cool if you did play as a girl in Dragon Quest XII. That'd be really neat. because like I said, it's something that really hasn't been done before in this way anyways. It says the game, like Dragon Quest XI, takes place across 3 acts. The first arc takes place exclusively in the Mortuaris, which is much bigger, featuring a gigantic slave market. The heroine is slave number 12. She was born there, and Corvus, still human at that point, is number 9. Number 10 is a secondary character, but the leaker doesn't know if he's from Dragon Quest X since he hasn't played the MMO. They have their number branded with a red hot iron on their backs, hence the logo and the prominence of the flames in the first teaser. So this would kind of fall into place a little bit, but I don't think they would be as bold as to add Corvus in here. I think that is like not something they would do, other than maybe the Dragon Lord showing up in Dragon Quest II. There isn't a lot of times where like a main focal character shows up in one of like the sequels or prequel games. This one makes me lean more towards these being fake because, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of dumb having Corvus there, because that means what? This is like the start of the Giddish Empire, maybe? I'm not too sure. It also says that Corvus is the first party member. So again, this really makes me think that this is phony and not real. Having Corvus as the first party member, I don't think Dragon Quest would ever do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that happening. Like I said, the only other time that a character, even a focal point character in a Dragon Quest game, has shown up in the sequels as like, not even as like a bonus super boss or anything like that, is pretty much the Dragon Lord and the Zenithian Dragon, and they're not party members. I don't think they would ever make Corvus a party member in a prequel to Dragon Quest IX. I think that's kind of weird. Again, it could happen. It just doesn't seem like something that Yuji Horii would do based on like previous games, you know? The leaker describes the gameplay as fun but broken. He says it's, for example, possible to spam the attack command on enemies to deal massive damage, like 600 in an area at level 15. But after that, your character can no longer use the attack command in battle. One of the party members would be some kind of alcoholic who only has the items command in combat. This sounds terrible. This does not sound good. And if this is real, maybe he played a very early version of the game. They're still working on the combat system. It did sound like that was what was troubling them the most in development, was the combat system and trying to get that right. So it could be real, but I don't know. The rest of the gameplay is classic Dragon Quest turn-based. Exploration is semi-open world. The Transforge system from Dragon Quest XI is carried over as is. So like the crafting system, I'm assuming is what that's trying to say. That originally started in Dragon Quest X, actually. So it'd be like open zone, probably, right? Is what they're trying to say, which I could see happening. The music and character designs were 95% done by Sugiyama and Toriyama, but he suspects 2 or 3 tracks were composed by Okabe from Nier, and some characters' designs were created by Fenyo. He's not sure though, because he still hasn't reached the credits after 135 hours of play. He figures he's in the middle of Act 3 and there's no filler at all. It's just that the game is a massive epic spanning nearly 70 years without any time skips, up to where the leaker has gotten. That does not sound... I don't know, man. Now it's really making me think that this is bullshit. It spans 70 years without any time skips, unless the years go by like crazy. Or I have had a theory that Yuji Horii is wanting to do a Western style RPG, because I mean, he is the grandfather of the JRPG, and he did mention how he wants more dialogue options and he wants those choices to actually matter in the game and in the world of the game. And the only games that really do that really well are Western RPGs. So maybe this is Yuji Horii's attempt at a Western RPG. And if you look at games like Fable, I've only played the first one, so I don't know anything about the others, but if you look at a game like Fable, that does span like 70 years, because pretty much every time you level up, you get older and like the years go on, right? So I don't know, maybe he is going for that Western RPG field. Maybe he wants Dragon Quest XII to be his first attempt at a Western style RPG. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Do you think that's something that might happen based on what's been said before? Or do you think it's like ridiculous to even think that? What do you think it would be? Do you think it would be good? if he did a Western RPG style Dragon Quest. I don't know. I'm not a big Western RPG guy. There's the odd one that's good, but I don't know. If it's Dragon Quest, I'm gonna play it. He says the end of Act 1 shocked and disgusted him so much he nearly threw up. He advises sensitive folks not to play the game, but thinks that by release, this specific part will be sanitized since it's so ripe for controversy. Again, man, this is like 1 out of fucking 10 reliable when I hear stuff like that, right? That's not something Dragon Quest would do. When they said Dragon Quest XII is going to be like a darker tone or whatever, Dragon Quest has very, very dark moments. Dragon Quest VII probably has more sad endings than happy endings. Same with Dragon Quest IX has a lot of that as well, right? There's a lot of dark stuff in Dragon Quest. I think people just see like kind of the cutesy art style and the music, and they think that this is just all fun and games all the time. But one of my favorite writers, Peter David, would always say the best way to make people feel those low moments and make those low moments feel extra low is by having very good high moments, very good whimsical and funny and happy moments. It just makes those sad and depressing and even angry moments feel that much deeper, right? The stronger the contrast, the stronger the emotions, if that makes sense. But I don't think Dragon Quest would ever have something that would make somebody playing it throw up. That's ridiculous. The team is mainly wrapping up the graphical side, not amazing, and bugs. The guy ran into quite a few because everything else seems more or less done. First trailer on May 27th for Dragon Quest Day, release in summer 2007. Probably the only thing that's true, and I think everybody knows that. I've been saying that for probably a year now, that we're gonna get an actual trailer for Dragon Quest XII finally on Dragon Quest Day, which is May 27th. I could see it releasing in summer of 2007. Because now they have the time to build up the hype around it. Like I've always said, my dream for Dragon Quest XII is for Dragon Quest XII to do for the Zenithian trilogy what Dragon Quest XI did for the Erdrick trilogy. And with Dragon Quest 4 through 6 not having remakes yet, I think this would be like the perfect time, because you're gonna have probably either Dragon Quest 4 or Dragon Quest 6 remake coming out shortly before or around the same time as Dragon Quest 12. So it would be nice to have that like Zenithian chapter and then 12 tying into that and kind of capitalizing off of that. I think that would be really, really nice. Let me know what you guys think. Is this complete bullshit? Is there some fact to this? Are the facts things that people would have probably guessed anyways based on prior information? Do you think Yuji Horii wants to make a Western style RPG out of Dragon Quest? Let me know your thoughts on if that's something you'd be interested in checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all. You can also hype the video to help others find it. And if you want to help out the channel, feel free to join the channel and become a Dragon Warrior today. Thanks again so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you in the next one.